Perhaps that company would not be failing if that was the case.
I'm done with this. I'm gonna go back down there and start my stream. So wait, you want to come down to 9 Drew with me? You have time?
I gotta. Let me try to figure it because I gotta go to the location scout.
All right. Well, I already promoted it as you're coming out.
Oh, you told him. What do I gotta do for? Like, what do I do?
Nothing. All you gotta do is just like show up
Pull
and
up.
be like, "What's up?" I had an idea of just like starting the stream and just having you there.
What is up, everybody? Hasan Piker here. Shout out to all the Hasanabis. Today is Friday. It's 85 degrees. We're in New York City. It's a beautiful day. Hope you're having a great Friday over there. It's 1:18 p.m. Eastern time. That was amazing. Get out of here. All right, what's up? Let me get back in my seat.
As of this recording, Hasan Piker has the 4th most subscribed channel on Twitch, a platform that I don't use and that kind of scares me. But even if Twitch was built for gamers, Piker has used Twitch as a home for news analysis, political debate, and even fundraising for causes that he supports. He's a new person doing a new format on a new platform, which drives legacy media insane trying to label him. He's like, is he part of the manosphere? Is he a Nazi, a bully, a progressive? I mean, he's buff, but he believes in human rights, and he wants universal health care. What is it? Who is he? But Hasan Piker isn't totally new. He's spent years in progressive media and is pretty well read on politics and history, which he uses to present the news cycle to his streaming audience every day for 10 hours at a time, which is bonkers.
When I look at the chat, I feel like I'm gonna have a seizure.
Yeah, it's normal.
You can see the Matrix.
Yeah.
So I sat down with one of the other Hasans to give me a 101 on progressive politics, chat about Noam Chomsky, and to get his take on a completely unhinged Eric Adams video that everybody needs to see.
In addition to a book, something simple as a crack pipe.
Damn, this is edited like crazy.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, Hasan Piker. Hey. Thanks for doing this, bro.
This is amazing.
So listen, man, you are one of the kings of reacting. You're a reaction king.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do something with you. This is gonna be pretty meta here. This is going to be my reaction. Hasan Minhaj reacts to Hasan Piker reacting to Hasan Minhaj.
That makes so much sense. Okay, let's see.
Let's do it.
You've been saying put your shoes on for the past 40 years. Senator Sanders, do you ever feel like blowing your brains out?
Occasionally.
That was kind of funny, I'm not gonna lie. It was a good, strong start. He just straight up asked Bernie if he wants to kill himself, dude. That's insane.
It's a great reaction. That's one of the nicest reactions I've gotten, bro. The internet's a wild place.
Bro,
I've gotten some mean reactions.
Oh, I've definitely given you some mean reactions myself, probably.
Oh, yeah. Do not go. But let's not go through this.
Yeah, let's not go through the bad ones.
Yeah, let's not go through the bad. I've gotten some, you know, the ones that the personal ad hominem ones are the ones that I can't. That cut deep. Why does he move his hands so much? He's got eyebrows like fuzzy caterpillars.
Hey, you're so handsome. It's not.
Thank you.
It's not. That's like
you.
it's. You're fine on that front. No, I you know, I have a lot of animosity. We're here right now, but like as soon as I saw a Muslim dude named Hasan, on the Daily Show, I was like, oh, bro, it's over. There's no way white people are gonna be like 2 Muslim Hasans doing political satire or political anything. It's not happening. Now there's 3.
There's 3.
I don't know what happened.
No, it's a big. There's a lot happening in the world, man.
Because like, if your name is John and my name is John, we could have 10 of us.
Hey, can I tell you what I really wanted to chat with you about? Bro, I was going to text you this. The New York Times profile on you was bonkers.
I know.
I was like, all right, I'm just going to have him on the pod. We're going to talk about it. All right, let's take a look at, let's look at the title, okay?
That's the good headline.
A progressive mind in a body made for the manosphere. That's what they changed it to? What was it before?
The bad one was MAGA body. They said, like leftist with a MAGA body or something. They changed it after I yelled about it on stream.
A progressive mind and a MAGA body, article headline is not the best, okay? I think what they were saying is like MAGA packaging. I think that would have been probably a better title for this instead of a progressive mind and a MAGA body. If they said progressive mind and a MAGA package or something, or in a bro package, or a manosphere package, MAGA body, that's going to piss off a lot of people.
Classic New York Times. The editor came up with a title that pisses everybody off, regardless of their political background.
Yeah.
Like the liberals were mad because they were like, MAGA body, excuse me. Like, have you ever been to a Walmart in Oklahoma? Like, that's not what MAGA body is. And then all the Republicans were mad because they were, I guess, like associating me with MAGA.
You pissed off every part of the Venn diagram.
Everybody got
Nobody
mad.
was happy. Even the photos made you look kind of like a zoo animal, where they're like, check this out. Let's look at this first photo. For an appearance at the 2024 TwitchCon, Mr. Piker wore a tank top that showed off his arms.
I look good as fuck, though. I do look good as fuck.
Read that description.
This is the description.
That's crazy.
This is one of the main descriptions. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Now, how does it feel to be treated like a female politician?
No, it's awesome. Because I grew up fat.
Okay.
So like when I
yeah, you've talked about this.
Yeah, so when I get objectified, I'm like, sweet. People will be like, people in the comment section always be like, no one would listen to you if you weren't hot. And I'm like, oh, you think I'm hot? Thank you. That's nice. But it's, I mean, obviously objectification doesn't work in the same way for men, but they're trying hard.
Right. Every part of it's insane. Why?
I'll be honest. If there's ever a guy that gets successfully objectified in the future, I think I might be one of them. Okay, I might be the first one. The way that things are going with the slut shaming, with the speculations into my private life, the way that every fucking minor detail of my physical outlook is constantly placed prominently. Low key, Vinny Hacker mocks you, little bro, retire. Of course, dude. There are fucking far hotter dudes than me out there. Are you kidding me? Of course, Vinny Hacker being one of them. I'm just saying, like, the thing is, objectification doesn't successfully, I don't get it, because objectification doesn't work on men in the same way that it does on women. Because we exist in a patriarchal construct where, like, the societal expectations of women are unfortunately defined by their looks. Like, most people have that idiotic assessment about women that, like, they are defined by the way that they look. Whereas it doesn't work that way for men. It doesn't denigrate men in the way that it denigrates women. Because people already treat women as second class status anyway. You know what I mean? I do see you get slut shamed like a hot woman. Yeah. I didn't know you were woke. Nah, dude, I'm asleep. I'm not woke. I'm asleep.
Why this obsession with your body?
I think it's a little bit like Zoran, which again, another 33-year-old Muslim guy. What's going on? Are we doing taqiyya? Is that? I never knew what that was, by the way, until I came to America and I heard it from an Islamophobe. Is that what's going on? There's like a Muslim infiltration happening, I think. But after his victory in New York,
Yeah.
everybody was like, oh, it's because he's handsome. Oh, he won because he's doing good social media. It's like, it's never about like what his message is, even though that was what penetrated to the consciousness of so many people. Like a guy who was young and dynamic and just went out and was like, what's your problem? I'll solve it, right? Like that's what we're supposed to do. It's pretty basic stuff.
Yeah.
But everybody focuses on the optics and the aesthetics. And the same goes for myself as well. I'm really happy to be profiled by the New York Times. It's great.
Where'd you get the shirt? Is the Palestinian Youth Movement. They gave it to me.
It's not my expectation of being written in these mainstream outlets is often going to be like somewhat negative coverage, right?
Right.
But whenever these kinds of puff pieces or profiles happen, they just hyper focus on the aesthetics and not necessarily.
Of course, you're making it about yourself. What? He's interviewing me, man. He asked me the question. What should I have done?
What I talk about as a political commentator.
Yeah.
There was a piece in that article where they covered it briefly, and they were like, Hasan has controversial opinions. For example, he has claimed Israel is doing a genocide, which I feel like is not a controversial opinion at this point. The journalist who wrote that probably had to fight hard to even get that in the article, right? Because it's in the style section. But like I said, I don't really mind that kind of positive coverage, because I almost feel like it's a way for some journalists to be like, no, he's good, without tackling the actual politics of it all.
You've been following the Zoran Mamdani stuff, right?
Yeah, that's my boy.
So you had him on the stream.
I did, yeah.
Okay.
He was at 8%. I'm just saying, he was like, nobody was.
What did you guys do? You guys like pulled up to like just a restaurant, right? And you just had some food.
Yeah, we went to a restaurant that he chose, that one of his homies was running.
Yeah.
And we just started there, had a conversation there, and then we just walked Astoria. And he took me to, I think it was a Bangladeshi restaurant, if I'm not mistaken. We went there, we saw the Unks, and then afterwards he took me to like a bunch of these like different coffee shops, like Yemeni coffee shops in the area, and it was an amazing experience. Yeah. I mean, he's really, really charismatic. He's got that 33 years of being a visible Muslim guy, defense mechanism always. So he can just like eat it. When someone just like says something crazy to him, he can do jujitsu and just like immediately bring it back to affordability is a real crisis.
Right.
Yeah.
He Tai Chi's it, and he's just like, but we have to freeze the rent.
Yeah.
You know
it's
that,
crazy.
Right?
Like, cause
I don't know if have you seen the New York Post covers? Pull this up. Nuts.
Yeah. Candidate hate for mayor. Dangerous ma'am.
Dangerous Ma'am is wild. Now, because what you're not noticing about this one, it says Dangerous Ma'am, and then right there it says actor Val Kilmer dies at 65. So when I saw that one, I was like, did he kill Val Kilmer? Are they saying he killed Val Kilmer?
Yeah, that's what he did.
When you see all this stuff, what's it like for you?
I mean, they write about me quite extensively.
Oh, the New York Post.
Oh, yeah. When I see this,
Twitch streamer Hasan Piker is pushing Gen Z boys to the extreme left with twisted views on Israel at 9/11. I love this shit. Like when they do this, liberals are drooling over very handsome, terror-cheering leftist Hasan Piker after fawning New York Times profile. It's funny because they kind of gave up. Like they didn't even do one of these. Like usually they do one of these after the GQ profile too. I was expecting it, and they didn't even do one after the GQ profile. I feel like I'm washed now.
when I see this stuff, I said this before, like I'd never have felt so, like I never understood like
left-wing influencer Hasan Piker glows as he returns to Twitch after being yanked for a comment about DC Jewish Museum shooting.
representative politics until someone who was also a 33-year-old socialist Muslim is running for office. He gets the exact same attacks that I get. He is much better at dealing with them because I think after like the 700th time that I have to respond to like, you're a terrorist, why do you want to throw gay people off roofs, from a guy whose name is like, you know, Hitler's tit 1488. I'm like, me?
Right.
You just
and now you're engaging in discourse with this.
Yeah. Now I'm like, I'm talking to a guy who like, I look at your older statements in the chat and you're calling me the F slur for defending gay people. Now you're saying I want to throw gay people off the roof. Like it doesn't make sense. I do have a tendency to lose it a little bit. I never can do the same jujitsu that he engages in and stay on message.
This second one is wild. College group co-founded by Mamdani hosted speaker who blamed U.S. for 9/11 attacks. The 6 degrees of 9/11 is kind of wild work on that New York Post cover.
You want to know something crazy? Cuomo tried to use me and him talking to me as a line of attack in the debates. He didn't reference me by name, but he was like, why did you dialogue with someone who said 9/11 was good, which I didn't say.
I'm not Mr. Mamdani. I don't give forums to extremists who blame America for 9/11.
Wait, was he talking about me?
But yeah, they love doing the 9/11 thing. Like they love being like, you know, he is Muslim. And you know who did 9/11? Muslims. It's super racist.
Congressman Richie Torres actually wrote a letter to the companies that host his podcast, and he said he's an apologist for October 7th, but also he's anti-American and an apologist for 9/11.
And was he cheering? Was
Yeah.
he cheering in New Jersey?
Yeah.
The way Donald Trump says Muslims
Yeah,
were
I was.
cheering.
Look,
Rooftops in Jersey.
Look.
I mean, you were in Turkey at the time.
I was in a New Jersey rooftop. I was dancing, but to be fair, I didn't know that it was happening. I did not know that 9/11 was happening. It was a Zumba class. It was
got
all
it.
the rage.
Got it. At the time.
It's
you were one of the early kids to Zumba.
Yeah, it was awkward that it just gets talked about in this way.
Sure. We're talking about Zoran, but we have to talk about the other candidates. We should talk about Eric Adams.
Oh, my favorite.
You've
I love
seen
him so
you've seen the
much.
Get Ready video, right?
Yeah, of course. I've seen all of his videos.
Let's take a look.
God will be done. You know, if God meant for me to continue to be the mayor of this great city, I'm gonna do the work, and God is my guiding light. I like to say I turn on my GPS, my God positioning satellite, and He's running the show. And all I have to do is continue to be the person that I've always been. And I'm not going to see myself as success.
Oh, wait, pause it. Can we pause it?
Yeah, let's take a quick pause.
Wait. Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm
go
a
ahead.
professional reactor. I have to point something out.
Yeah,
here.
go ahead. You talking about the time? The time.
Well,
difference.
the time is the classic.
we've talked about the time.
Yeah, we talked about the time. The real crime is what the he's doing to that orange, bro.
Oh, he's f***ing up the
he's
orange.
peeling the orange.
Yeah.
He's peeling the orange with a peeler, and like the white crust is just still on the
Still on
orange.
the orange.
How are you eating that orange? Why are you peeling it if you're gonna?
He wants a little bit of rind in there. He wants a little bit of the skin.
No, it's like that's
It's
that
a
shit's
zest.
so
It's a-
bitter.
Oh, the white that
The
that-
white
that
part is like the worst part.
right.
Like you only peel the orange like that if you want to use it as zest.
By the way, don't say that. The New York Post is going to now quote you. The white part is the worst part.
Oh,
Don't do
true.
that.
Can you explain the time thing? Yeah, it says it's supposed to be a day in the life, but like they put the time as like 8 a.m. or something, but you can look at the clock and it says like 11 a.m. on the clock, I think. So I'm like, nothing rhymes
Piker,
with
the white
orange.
part is the worst part.
That's
Don't-
true.
don't do that.
I have been canceled for that too.
No, I'm pro the white part on the orange, by the way.
Yeah.
I think the white part is the best part.
Oh, okay.
I think it gives
Good.
it a bitter.
White is right,
a
you're
bitter-
saying.
I'm saying white is right.
Yeah.
Oops, Minaj pissed the bed. Hassan appeals to races. White is right. Too much vitamin KKK. Other Hassan is outraged by bleeding tart limbs betrayal.
God, I love Eric Adams so much. He's just such a fascinating figure.
Oh, he's a fascinating guy.
He is exactly the type of mayor you would have in like a TV show or a cartoon, like an early Simpsons.
Sure, totally. Have you seen the 2011 Contraband video?
Yeah, of course.
Let's go.
Look at picture frames and behind them, cameras.
The
Try
music.
To determine
The music's
what's
incredible.
taking place. Behind a picture frame, you can find bullets. You should always, when your child bring in his
where I
popular
keep my bullets.
knapsack, with
Popular
many different
knapsack.
locations, look through it to see what exactly is your child carrying in addition to a book. Something simple as a crack pipe. Something simple as a baby doll. Could be just a baby doll, but also it could be a place where you can secrete or hide drugs.
Secrete.
You can
Run your
secrete
hands
drugs.
over there.
Yeah.
And see if you feel anything that's unusual. Like a pillow like this where the button is a perfect invitation to hide something. And I felt something bumpy. I would reach in, see what it is. Just look and see what it is. It could be more than just books. Perfect place to hide cocaine.
Dude, popular knapsack with many different locations is a bar.
It's an incredible quote.
It's cop speak.
Yeah.
But like he's such a cop that he's just like, yeah, I'm tactically ascertaining this popular knapsack with many different locations.
Who is this child that has dolls?
Pablo
with,
Escobar.
Yeah, it's I determine it's either one of two things. It's either your kid is an investment banker,
Yeah.
or a 7-year-old crackhead.
I love that he busts out the revolver. It's awesome. Yeah.
The pillowcase revolver is pretty great.
It's awesome because it's very uncomfortable. I feel like you just lay on it, the accidental discharge, you're done.
Every part of it is actually quite brilliant. And shout out to whoever edited that and added the music. No notes. Flawless.
He's so. I even sometimes think about this with Trump too. Like I wish they were just like always on camera, and we just kind of lied to them and said that they were like in charge.
Yeah.
So they just kept doing the stuff that they were doing, but then they weren't actually in charge.
Oh, you mean basically tell Eric Adams and Donald Trump, like, we'll just give you.
Yeah, you're mayor, you're president, and then we just film them
And it's
all
the
the
Truman Show.
time.
Yeah.
And then they can just like do the things that they're the best at, which is being
Hilarious and
incredibly
entertaining.
incredibly telegenic.
When did you commit to this whole, like, when did you commit to this as a lifestyle?
Streaming, I started doing it in 2018 when I was at the Young Turks. I was full time.
Yeah.
And I did it because I wanted to get better at off the cuff communication, because like everything that I had done thus far up until that point, I was really bad on camera. And I would write scripts, which was great because it shaped these arguments that I was making, and that was great, but it was all pre-scripted, and I was just very bad off script. I couldn't do free flow back and forth communication. Now I can't shut the fuck up. So obviously it worked, but
So you got good at riffing, basically.
yes, I wanted to get good at riffing, and I was like, if I play video games, I'm already playing Fortnite with my friends. They're all like journalists and podcasters and whatnot. If I can get good at like playing video games while also entertaining people, then like it would be much easier for me to go out and do public speaking and things like that. That was one of the reasons why I started it, because I was like, I want to max out on my time. I want to be more efficient because I'm already playing video games. Might as well strap a camera onto my PlayStation, start doing this thing. I wanted a place for myself, because I was working at the Young Turks, but I wanted something that wasn't under the shadow of my uncle. And I also understood the gaming space because I'm a gamer. I play video games. I love video games. And I knew that like
Oh my God, fuck you. You don't game. I know. I'm looking for the comments. I know there's someone in here being like, you're a liar. Yep, there it is. Biggest lie in the interview. I'm a gamer. The most predictable fan base of all time, dude.
environment itself was very diverse, but there wasn't necessarily any like left-wing progressive voices in that space at the time. It was entirely dominated by neckbeards and were very right-wing, even though gamers broadly were not.
Goddamn,
but that's all they saw. So I was like, I think I can like, I can tackle the space and also show people that the memes about like, because back then there was this like,
remember, we're doing the annual Hasanabi community census tomorrow. Annual Hasanabi community census tomorrow. Log in. If your mom in the household is also a watcher, tell her to log in from a separate computer so you can vote properly. Okay. I know there's many Hasanabi heads in one household nowadays. Okay. We're going to do it at 3 p.m. Pacific.
Defining trait of like the social justice warrior, blue-haired, hysterical, all this stuff. The crying lady from the 2020 inauguration,
Right.
like they always point to that.
Right.
And I wanted to be like, look, like that's not what it's about. You don't have to be a woke scold to be a progressive person or a leftist. You don't have to be a joy kill to be a progressive person or a leftist.
The thing I don't like about that framing too, by the way, and I was chatting about this with our producer before you even got here, is the framing behind justice being synonymous with being weak.
Yeah.
That to me is a misnomer as well, because it's like all of the great people that shaped my political views of the world, Malcolm X, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Muhammad Ali, they exhibited courage through strength. They were incredibly strong and chivalrous and kind and cared for the weak. There was nothing about them that was, hey, where's my inhaler?
Yeah.
They were there to protect others. So like I don't know at what point did that happen in popular culture that justice and weakness and meekness became like
it's
covalent bonded to each other, but it was never
cynical.
like that for me.
It's just like a cynical framing in an effort to like vilify your opponents for caring. Because like on the internet, I think like nihilism is almost seen as a benefit. When you're I'm edgy, I'm nihilistic, I don't really care about anything.
Sure.
Right? Like if you care about something, you lose. So I think that's the way that like these people were presented, because they care so much that they're like even getting emotional about it, right? They were able to like vilify people and like make them look foolish and that's not the case. Like, these people, regardless of how they look or how they sound, they actually care about something. That's why they're emotional, and many of them are going out there and in certain instances putting their bodies on the line. Like, we go out to the ICE protests in LA, people are getting shot at. You know what I mean? You might be online and you might be like a edgelord online and present yourself as like this cool guy, but the reality is, like, those people that you made fun of, like, they're out there, they're putting their bodies in front of cops. They're getting brutalized, they're getting shot, they're getting pepper sprayed and tear gassed and maced
or arrested,
and
and they're facing consequences.
And arrested, exactly. You're not doing any of that because there's nothing you stand for. People don't like seeing others with conviction, I think.
Do people see what you're doing as, hey, he's going to help me make sense of the news? Hey, he's somebody that I hang out with? Or just Hasan is someone I'm going to argue with?
I think all three at different points. But it's mostly, I think I help communicate how people are feeling about certain events, or I help them realize, like, that they're not alone in this feeling, especially if you're like living in the deep South and your worldview doesn't immediately match up with like everything that you see around you, and you're like, what are these guys saying? Like, I don't really agree with this. And then they find this community, this space online, and they're like, oh, so there are a lot of people.
Do you feel like the reason why people may see you and be like, I don't know what's going on here, is it probably like, look, this guy is on a new and nascent platform, Twitch. I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
And then he's talking about things to my kids. He's resonating with the youth on a new and nascent platform. So for me, I feel like people look at you almost like they're like a hostage negotiator outside of, like, in those movies where you have like Robert Duvall. It's like, what do you want, Hasan Piker? There's like a helicopter.
That is how I feel sometimes. I feel like that. I mean, like I said, for the first couple of years of my career, when journalists would reach out to try to do profiles, I was like very worried about it. I was like, no, it's fine. I don't want this kind of attention. It's cool. Because like I wanted to grow at my own pace. But I mean, I think it was after the 2020 election where the cat's out of the bag at that point, you know? And now it's interesting. It's mostly not about my politics and just about the aesthetics of it all. But I think that's just how it is. But I'm far from the first guy that looks.
I caught her licking her vagina.
Like this, that talks about politics. Chris Cuomo's out there doing his thing at News Nation.
I thought you were gonna bring up Kennedy's extremely handsome son that has now reemerged into the algo that people are going crazy over.
Are you? Oh, I thought you were gonna. I thought you were going to
talk about RFK.
Yeah,
I'm talking about
JFK
Jr.
A different route there.
No.
So yeah, he's.
What if I was like, yeah, RFK, it's kind of a smoke show.
You would not be the only guy who thinks that. Apparently, he's a real charmer.
Sure.
Allegedly. Anytime like there's a female reporter that writes about him, she's captivated by his
stunned
pheromones.
Apparently, a nuclear power plant in Western Europe had to shut down because a massive swarm of jellyfish got the same one that we use here at HMDK.
That's crazy.
That breaks down to just $5 a month for unlimited access.
Too. That's crazy.
Visit groundnews.com/Hasan and subscribe today.
Here's what I'm going to do. I've faced this before where no one asks you in a very clean, straightforward format, what are your political beliefs?
Okay.
We'll just get it clean. What is your political ideology?
I say I'm a leftist. And the reason why I say that, because it ranges all the way from, Maoist beliefs, I guess, to, in America, even social democracy, it's a big tent. And the reason why I don't particularly abide by one kind of Marxist orthodoxy is because I think that in America we have no broad coalition of the left. The DSA is trying to do that and have seen some success here in New York especially. But yeah, I say I'm a leftist. I'm a progressive. Empathy is what guides my politics. And yeah. That's it. I did a very bad job. You asked me a direct question.
It's a very...
And I gave you a very bad answer.
I've never been able to articulate it either. Here's kind of what my political disposition is. My basic POV is that all human beings have inalienable rights. Every human being has divine goodness within them, human beings are more than a P&L sheet, or things that can generate profit for corporations.
You did kind of blow that answer, my guy. I don't have a particular tendency that I associate with openly. I don't really care. You can say whatever you want. That's it. Well, I mean, I said in the United States of America, even social democracy can be considered a part of the left, because that's unfortunately the only left expression that you hear from even socialist politicians. But I don't believe that social democrats are universally a part of the left either. I've heard you explain your politics before. Well, you heard me explain it again.
Or provide shareholder value, and I don't think you should kill people for money. That's pretty much it. And apparently that makes me either like a terrorist or a Cuban spy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
People try to put that into like a two-party political box, but that's really what it is.
Yeah, well, it's neither party in the two party that really represents that, because I think that is antithetical to capitalism in general. I would say broadly I am anti-capitalist. Like, that's not... I don't correct people when they say I'm any variant of leftist. I guess unless they say I'm an anarchist. I'm not an anarchist. That's it. But you're right. My politics are people.
Don't get mad at me.
First, and I think that we can genuinely improve society broadly if we were to, and I'll use like a liberal term here that people like, we would be able to maximize the potential of people that are in developing nations that have been subject to untold amounts of cruelty at the behest of super profits that we extract from the global south. I feel like a better future is possible. We live in an era where we have an abundance. Not to shouts out to Derek Thompson and Ezra but we have a surplus of food. Like, solving that problem is a matter of profit. Because if food production was no longer profitable, if we were just giving it for free to people that need it, then all of a sudden, that breaks the entire system. There are so many things that we could solve if we were just be like, all right, well, let's just drop profit on this one. Let's not worry about making money on this one. How about we just have a little handshake deal here? Healthcare, housing. Like, I think these are solvable issues, and the only hurdle is that we have just simply not evolved away from this current organization of the economy.
Man, I've always felt this, being a comedian and an artist. It's a very like woo-woo, human first disposition. So a lot of what you're saying resonates with me. I've been put under the progressive umbrella before, but I'd love to chat with you about what these ideas mean to you. So I'm gonna ask you about like 6 or 7 questions. Like,
let's do it.
Let's break it down.
Why are you so afraid to admit that you're a liberal? You're right. It's a deep shame that I have in my heart. But ultimately, I think private property is the most important thing that civilized society has created. I love enclosures. I'm the enclosure demander. I need more enclosures. Okay? That's right. Fuck the commons. Destroy them at the behest of the almighty dollar, at the behest of profit. That's right. You got me. I love capital accumulation. That's what I want. I'm a small business. My mother was a small business. My father is a big business. That's right. And because I'm a small business, I want everyone to get $50,000 in tax credits for small businesses.
Okay. Hasan Piker, to you, what is socialism?
I mean, being a reformist is just being a liberal. 44 month subscribers, still chirping. Still. Okay, dude, you set up the fucking revolutionary vanguard. I'll be there. Okay, I'll be there.
Socialism is redefining and reorienting the classes.
Doesn't your dad own 1 million factories in Turkey yet? Billion. 1 billion factories.
Politics that we currently have away from the capital owning class owning both the means of production and virtually every facet of power, and redistributing it in a democratic fashion back to the largest class, the working class.
How is socialism different than communism?
Communism is supposed to be the end stage. It's like the final goal. It's like the final evolution, a stateless, moneyless, classless society, a borderless society. We've never really had communism. I know people will just like jokingly sometimes say real communism has never been tried, but that literally has never existed. Communist parties have existed. Now you have modern iteration.
I should have said primitive accumulation had communist societies technically.
Of that, like China, heavy state ownership, heavy state control over the entirety of commerce, a command economy. You have places that resemble this formation in Cuba, but we've never really had like a communist formation at all. I wouldn't say I'm a communist, but when people call me that, I don't really care, because I'm like, I think that's pretty cool. It's Star Trek. It's the Star Trek universe to have a moneyless society. Like, I feel as though that is definitely an honorable end goal to reach, where we have all of our needs met.
Got you.
You know?
So what I'm hearing, and tell me if I'm hearing you correctly, is the core ethos of communism in your mind is almost like a collectivist spirit that you would have almost like with your family.
Yeah.
Within your household.
Yeah.
Behind closed doors, and assuming the family's functional, not like the family that I grew up in that was highly dysfunctional.
For sure. But it's even beyond that. It's just it's the next stage in the evolution. It's like moving away from like feudalism to capitalism, like capitalist liberal democracies, and then the next stage from that, from social democracies to socialism, and then eventually, I guess, like once there's no more need, once we have everything produced, maybe one day in the future we could have all of these problems solved, and then there would be no more need for money. Who knows? I'm not saying that that's like what I suspect is going to happen.
Right.
But I'm saying that as an end goal, that doesn't sound bad.
Got it. You what you're saying is you're like, that's where my political and social compass is pointing, whether that's possible or not.
Yeah.
What is the difference between a liberal and a leftist?
Capitalism, I would say.
Okay.
Like a liberal in the European sense is actually considered a right-winger. Like liberal parties in Europe are right-wing parties. They're center-right or even sometimes far-right parties. Whereas a leftist, which is kind of like a made-up, that's not like a historic, traditional movement term at all. You usually have like specific delineations. You have ideological tendencies. You're a Marxist-Leninist. You're a Marxist-Leninist, Maoist third worldist, communist, socialist, democratic socialist, social democrat. A liberal is basically someone who is a capitalist. Motivating principle is usually the protection of private property, whereas I would say a leftist cares little about that, cares about personal property. Like you can have a house, you can have a car, there's no issues with that, but it revolves around the protection of capital accumulation. A liberal will protect capital accumulation, whereas a leftist doesn't necessarily care about it as much. Most leftists.
Got it. So a leftist is almost like, hey, you can have your basic needs met with a house, a car, clothes.
Yeah, but even like luxury goods, if you want to buy luxury goods. I mean, that's not like... some people might get mad at me for that, and a lot of people get mad at me here.
How do you square the circle with all that stuff? With when people say you're a left, and again they're labeling you're a leftist.
Yeah,
you have a house.
Well, they say I'm a communist when they want to get mad at me about that.
Okay, gotcha. How do you reconcile all of that sort of stuff?
I've never actually advocated against people having nice things, but that's just kind of the box that people automatically assume you're in. I think it was falsely attributed to Deng Xiaoping, who said, socialism isn't about poverty. To be rich is glorious, which he didn't actually technically say, but he never corrected it. So I'm just going to attribute it to him. Socialism and leftism is about making sure that everyone has the same freedoms that I've been able to get for myself, the financial freedoms of not having to constantly check your phone, to worry about your bank balance by the time the end of the month is coming around. Things that I've experienced as well in my life. To constantly have to worry about the pressures of maybe not being able to make rent, right?
Wow, bro is not condemning commodity production. Kind of Trumpy, if you ask me. True.
Maybe not being able to make the car payments that you have to make. The way I see being a regular working class person is kind of like having all of this extra weight on you at any given moment throughout the day that a person like yourself does not have any longer.
Yeah.
A person like myself does not have any longer, where it's like a weight is lifted off your shoulders when you no longer have to have these like tremendous financial pressures. That
I said, we must uplift the workers of the world and alleviate their immediate financial burdens, which weigh upon them and constantly keep them down. And this guy went, "What an L take." Who the fuck says that's bad, dude? He's like, nah, dude, I love being a slave. Shut the fuck up, dude. I know your ass ain't a billionaire. You're in the Twitch chat with an anonymous username called Dozer1001. Watching for 3 years. Fuck you mean, L take? You're not in a cigar smoke room, cigar smoke filled back room, making shadowy deals, doing price fixing.
Actually is an anchor. Like that basically curbs your potential. It limits your potential. It stops you from enjoying life. Sure. And I don't think that should be paywalled. Like, we shouldn't shut off that access. And I don't think that this current economic organization of society allows that to happen. So my advocacy revolves around everyone being able to have nice things or time to themselves or more autonomy in their workplace. Sure. And it's not about like, oh, you don't get to have nice things at all. I'm going to take your toothbrush away.
Yeah, and what you're talking about is like not only just the financial freedom, but like time freedom,
yes,
mind freedom. We had a taste of it with COVID. Remember how when everyone kind of stopped and they're like, like, for the first time it was pencils down for the entire for the majority of kind of corporate America. There was like a little moment of that, and then the S&P 500 had to continue. And like, no,
there was too much. People had too much real estate, like commercial real estate that they bought. Like, people have to get back to work. What are we doing?
Yeah. What is the left-wing / leftist perspective on immigration?
I guess there's diversity of thought in every movement, including on the left as well. But mine is I am pro-immigration. I don't think that there's any issue with immigration at all. But the way that immigration works, I think it was Aviva Chomsky, one of Noam Chomsky's daughters, who wrote a book on this. I think it was called Immigration, Illegal? I'm butchering the name of the book, but she wrote a great book about this. Where
Undocumented, how immigration became illegal.
She details the history of how like migration actually became a crime, and the reasons as to why it became a crime was to create a permanent second-class citizen in the United States, a permanent underclass, basically, that you can use and abuse and discard through this legal system, which was initially implemented under the second Bracero program during World War II, when we actually brought in Mexican migrant workers. And then Eisenhower turned around and engaged in a horrifying mass deportation operation, which was named after a slur. I'm not going to say the slur, but it was literally on the New York Times. Like, they wrote, Operation WB is the slur. Okay. And actually, Trump was promoting that when he was running this last election cycle. He was like, he did great things. Eisenhower, he did so much good. And I couldn't believe that he was saying that. Anyway, I'm rambling on because this is what I do on Twitch all the time. The real inhumanity of immigration in this country is what we do to the migrants, and both what we do to their home countries initially, the destabilization, and also even climate change and its impact on like agricultural production in those places, the instability that we cause in the global south that create migration patterns.
Hasanabi has roid boobs. Thank you for assuming that I do steroids. It's very nice of you.
Into the United States of America. And then the cruelty never really stops, because the difference between a documented and undocumented non-citizen is documentation. It's just paperwork.
Right. And also the luck of birth.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like your
what piece
zip
of
code.
soil
Yeah.
you were lucky enough
Yeah.
to be born into.
And so my argument is there's no like only finite amount of labor available, because it's something that consistently expands.
Yeah.
I like to make an argument for socialist policies from the perspective of selfishness, oftentimes, because I think that Americans like that. There are jobs for everyone. The notion that there's only a finite amount of jobs, and then like immigrants are going to come in and take those jobs, and then it's going to depress the wages. Yeah, that only happens if they are kept undocumented. Yeah. And the powerful forces in this country, capital owners, recognize that reality, which is why we play this weird game of dehumanizing undocumented immigrants. It's obviously racism that plays a big role here.
100%.
But that racism is actually just simply a weapon that is wielded by capitalist forces in this country so that they can continue keeping these people undocumented. Because if they were documented, they would be able to, alongside the already existing naturalized or American-born labor force, go side by side and advocate for better workplace conditions.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the real problem here, because having a consistently growing pool of undocumented migrant workers does have the capacity to depress wages for the documented labor force. The only way to actually drive up those wages is by unionizing, is by demanding higher wages.
Sure. And they would have to have documentation and citizenship in order to have collective action, to participate in a union, to then have the leverage over their employer to negotiate a better wage.
And they do that. Purdue is a notorious example of this. There was a bunch of poultry facilities. One of them is Purdue. And they would hire undocumented workers on purpose. They would put them in a trailer park next to the factory. And then when these undocumented workers would complain about back pay that they weren't getting, or sexual harassment that were happening, they would just call ICE and deport them. And then next week, go back to the same exact places, find new undocumented workers to bring to the same trailer park to work at the factory. Like, it's built into the system.
Yeah.
That's precisely the reason why the punishment for factory owners for hiring undocumented workers knowingly is marginal. It's much cheaper for them in the long run to simply hire undocumented workers and then discard them like they're nothing when their use is done.
You were talking about Noam Chomsky's daughter earlier. Was Chomsky a big political influence for you in his writing?
For sure. Yeah.
Have you seen Manufacturing Consent?
I've read it.
I'm going to play you a clip. But there's a documentary in the late 80s, early 90s.
Oh, I think I've seen a piece of it where they talk about it's very well drawn. There's like drawings.
There's drawings. There's archival.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
great.
yeah.
Okay, so this is my favorite. So if shout out to Noam Chomsky, one of the goats.
Yeah.
He was super influential for me as well. I'm gonna play you a clip.
Okay.
This is one of my favorite clips from Manufacturing Consent, the documentary. So this is Noam Chomsky dunking on a very young David Frum.
We should be responsible for our own actions primarily.
Because your method is not only to ignore the corpses created by them, but also to ignore corpses that are created by
Fucking David Frum.
either side, but which are irrelevant to your ideological
That's
agenda.
totally untrue.
Well, let me give you an example. One of your own causes that you take very seriously is the cause of the Palestinians. And a Palestinian corpse weighs very heavily on your conscience. And yet a Kurdish corpse does not.
That's not true at all. I've been involved in Kurdish support groups for years. That's absolutely true. That's absolutely false. I mean, just ask the Kurdish, ask the people who are involved in, they come to me, I sign their petitions and so on and so forth. In fact, if you look at the things we've written, let's take a look. I mean, I'm not Amnesty International. I can't do everything. I'm a single person. But if you read, say, take a look, say, at the book that Edward Herman and I wrote on this topic. In it, we discuss 3 kinds of atrocities. What we called benign bloodbaths, which nobody cares about, constructive bloodbaths, which are the ones we like, and nefarious bloodbaths, which are the ones that the bad guys do. The principle that I think we ought to follow is not the one that you stated. You know, it's a very simple ethical point. You're responsible for the predictable consequences of your actions. You're not responsible for the predictable consequences of somebody else's actions. The most important thing for me and for you is to think about the consequences of your actions. What can you affect?
It's a fire Chomsky clip.
Yeah. Dave, I can't believe David Frum is still working.
So for those of you watching, this is a young David Frum, who, fun fact, was one of the authors of George W. Bush's The Axis of Evil speech.
Yeah.
States like these and their terrorist allies constitute an...
That motherfucker put Iran in there. Okay? It was him, right? I think it was Frum that put Iran in the Axis of Evil speech. And then the Iranians were like, what the fuck? Wait. Our enemies did 9/11 to you, and we're a part of this puzzle? How the fuck did this happen? That was crazy. Because, like, Al-Qaeda, Salafist, like jihadi, Salafist terror, in the way that you understand it, like ISIS, Al-Qaeda, these groups, like, some of which are born out of Saudi Arabia. Many of them get training in Pakistan. Like, these groups, propped up by Western powers, America, British Empire before, have been in a constant state of war with Iran and the Iranian military. And as a matter of fact, throughout the entire failure of the war on terror, okay, America utilized Iranian targeting and Iranian intelligence to actively go after some of these groups, which is what's so interesting. So the idea that these guys were like responsible for 9/11 is so crazy.
Axis of evil.
Isn't it true that Iran has disproportionately funded these groups though? No. What? No, dude. Where the fuck did you get that information from? No. If anything, Iran is Shia. What? No. Hezbollah and the IRGC have actively combated these groups. These groups are funded by fucking Saudi Arabia, which is, again, another regional power that Iran is entirely antagonistic to. If anything, most of the groups that, or countries that America has toppled or eliminated, have at one point in time fought against these groups as well. The only Sunni group that Iran actively funds is Hamas and is the Palestinian resistance. As far as I can remember. I'm sure there's some others as well, but it's mostly, Iran has mostly funded Shia movements, like Shia militias, whether it be the Ansar Allah movement in Yemen or Hezbollah in Lebanon. It's a big, big point of contention. Hamas itself was initially started as a Muslim Brotherhood charity organization. It's an Islamic charity. So wait, Saudis aren't a closer ally then? Wait, what? No. Do with that information what you will. Saudi Arabia is an incredibly valuable ally to the United States and also an incredibly valuable ally to Israel. And yet, with the exception, I mean, not the exception, but like, it's just interesting that we're constantly fucking fighting a lot of these extremist organizations that keep propping up in the region that gives us just cause to intervene in the affairs of the region. But never Saudi Arabia, of course.
Evil, arming to threaten the peace of the world. We will develop and deploy effective missile defenses to protect America and our allies from sudden attack.
It is funny for David Frum to hit the "you don't care about the Kurds" because one, Kurdish militia movements in the region have an honorable goal that I also agree with, Kurdish emancipation, even though I'm Turkish. Okay, don't come at me. They are also propped up by the American state. And ironically enough, Chomsky has written extensively on this, where he will routinely criticize America for arming the Kurdish militias and basically dangle emancipation or statehood in front of them. A 35 million ethnic group with no nation state in the region, bits and pieces in every country, including Turkey. America will just dangle statehood in front of them to basically use and abuse them, to just like wield them as a weapon in the region for destabilization, and then we'll let the Turks roll over them every single time. And Noam Chomsky has written extensively on it. But what's interesting to me about what David Frum is doing there is that it's the exact same thing that David Frum does right now. And everyone like David Frum that is like super pro-Israel or super pro-American imperialism in the region will always be like, well, what about the Kurds? Or what about Sudan? And it's like, okay, that's also bad. And we are also kind of involved in all of those things. But you're just simply pointing to that to deflect away from Palestine, which is something that, again, we are doing.
Well, what Chomsky also says at the end of that clip that I think is really interesting, he's saying, I'm responsible for my actions.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've grappled with, too, as an American citizen, someone who pays taxes, is what are my tax dollars doing?
Yeah, David Frum's biggest crime is that he's Canadian.
Yeah.
What are they funding? That's really shaped my political disposition. But also some of the great,
Sudan is not a deflection at all. It's a serious issue and a real conspiracy. Wait, what? I already say that. I'm not saying Sudan I'm not saying that it's irrelevant. I'm saying that people that literally work with Israel and Israel's allies, like the UAE, that is doing the genocide in Sudan by propping up the rapid support forces and arming them with sometimes American weapons, are using the issue, the crisis, the genocide in Sudan as a simple diversion away to move the attention away from the point of contention that's not being addressed, which is Israel.
Civil rights activist. I mean, the book right there behind me, Muhammad Ali, his work in the 60s and 70s against the war in Vietnam also shaped my whole position on both individual violence and state-sanctioned violence.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about it. For me, in regards to violence, I've just never been able to be pro-violence.
Yeah. I am openly an anti-imperialist. Like, that's the one thing that gets me into trouble in American politics more than anything else.
Why? I don't understand.
Because this entire machine is run on violence. So it's like, and that is the violence that is uniparty for the most part. It's happening over there. Most people can feel like they're anti what's happening over there, but they don't let that disrupt their regular day, their day-to-day experience. And because of that, I think, especially in like the last 2 decades, I would say like the Democratic Party is also is no longer like even the aesthetically anti-war party. We have 2 parties that are pro-war basically. And maybe they were always pro-war, but now they are openly pro-war. They're championing the pro-war message. And I guess Donald Trump actually successfully took advantage of that dynamic to present himself as anti-war, even though he very clearly wasn't in his first term, and he certainly has not been so far, right? But you said, like, no violence whatsoever. I'm not a violent person. I abhor violence. I think violence is something that we must eradicate in its entirety. But it's also a functional part of politics. Like violence, as a matter of fact, who gets to do violence,
correct,
and who is the recipient of violence is a big part of politics. It's resource distribution, who gets to have it and who doesn't.
Right.
And the only way to manage that resource distribution is through violence, in the simplest terms. So the reason why I said it gets me into a lot of trouble is because like a big part of what I do also revolves around contextualizing the violence of militancy against imperialism, militancy against state actors. Yeah. And I think that is what Americans can't stand to hear. Right. Especially, I guess, like, no matter how white I look, no matter how bro-y I look, at least.
They talk about Intifada glowingly. They support Hamas, a genocidal terrorist group with American blood on their hands. It is a fallacy to pretend, oh, we can't criticize the government of Israel. That is not the issue here. These people know that. They just lie.
You know what's really interesting? They're mostly using, Hasan Minhaj is mostly using Fox News clips because, like, those guys are the ones who, like, actively will come after me in mainstream news. But I think on the internet, I mostly hear this kind of shit from, you know, Asmongold fans and whatnot. But a big chunk of this kind of commentary, exactly this kind of commentary, is coming from the likes of Ethan Klein and Sex Pestany, who build themselves as liberals, even though they're not.
I constantly.
At least the nickname fits. Piker.
They hear the name Hasan and they go, "Oh, you."
I know that's
you.
That's
like,
really where you f***ed up, bro.
Yeah,
you should have gone by Harry, Henry, because you got a Henry Cavill look.
I could just, I thought, yeah, I could just been like, my name's Hank.
Yeah,
I'm from Kansas.
You f***ed up with the Hasan.
Yeah,
beautiful name, but
yeah. My grandfather always used to say, like, "Don't tell people you're Muslim."
Oh yeah.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
He's like, because it was like post 9/11. He's like, yeah, because my middle name is Doan, but it's a letter that doesn't exist in the English language. It's a G. It's a silent G.
Yeah.
So it's my middle name is Dogan, like in official, you know, paperwork.
Sure.
So he's like, just use Dogan. Say Dogan Piker. That sounds Irish.
Yeah, a little bit.
I could have just been Dogan Piker.
Yeah.
If you've listened to HMDK before, you know that I'm a fan of HelloFresh. They send healthy chef.
Goddamn.
You know what's interesting, man? Your whole life, growing up in Turkey and then coming here and studying at Rutgers, you've had this insider-outsider relationship to America. U.S. citizen, grew up in Turkey, came here. How did that, growing up in Turkey, shape your world perspective when it comes to international foreign policy in a way in which a lot of your classmates or people that you grew up with in America don't quite have?
I mean, the automatic position. Ironically enough, Turkey's a NATO country, so it's also the most like anti-American country. I think like one of the most anti-American countries on the planet, one of the most anti-Israel countries on the planet as well. Again, major ally to Israel, major trading partner to Israel, regardless of what Erdogan says, and also a NATO nation that houses American nukes inside of American military bases in Incirlik, right? Second largest military in NATO, and yet Turks do not like America. They don't like America intervening in our affairs.
This position was even when you were a kid growing up in Turkey.
Oh, for sure.
Got it.
Well, because I grew up and 9/11 happened, and then I saw what America did in the region and the insane instability that it caused in the region, and that's why everyone usually that is from that part of the world has almost a monolithic approach to America. We love the culture, you know, rap music and everything else that comes with like Hollywood, but we don't like the government. We don't like the policies, especially policies that pertain to sending, you know, corn-fed boys from Iowa down to places that they should not be in, to go and do some door knocking operations in a Brown family's home.
Did you feel, growing up in Turkey and before you came back to study at Rutgers, did you feel like there were two stories happening, which was, hey, I'm reading these headlines in the New York Times, and then this is what life is like for me growing up in Turkey, and there's a divide here? Because I felt that growing up Muslim in the United States, which is why Homeland was such a trip for me. I would watch these shows and I'm like, that's what infiltrating a mosque is like?
Yeah.
Because I know what Sunday school kids are like.
Yeah.
They're weird. They're not terrorists.
Yeah.
They're certainly weird and socially awkward.
The big reveal was that he was doing dua, or he was praying on a prayer mat. I was like, ooh, spooky.
Yeah. So like that was always a trip for me, which was seeing that dissonance, being like, I live in this community, and then I'm seeing the way it's being portrayed, and there's a huge chasm between those two things.
Yeah. Everyone in America thinks like we ride camels or something, and it's like, no, that's not a thing, right? It's just, well, I guess like people's understanding has developed a little bit further beyond that.
Mine's still pretty basic too, which is like, the thing that I feel is so dope about that region is people can legitimately be like, I'm Ottoman, bro.
I do say that a lot.
It's just a cool thing to say.
People get mad.
You know, like you study Mesopotamia in the 6th grade and you make like your little diorama, but to be like, yeah, I'm Sumerian.
Yeah.
I'm Mesopotamian.
Yeah, 1453, best year of my life.
yeah.
Istanbul, baby.
Yeah, I'm from the Fertile Crescent.
Yeah.
Like, that's just a cool thing to say.
Yeah, not Constantinople, bitch.
Yeah, versus
What's
like,
up?
I'm from Tallahassee. No disrespect,
Yeah.
Tyler. I know Tyler's from Tallahassee.
No, it's sick.
It is
something.
sick. It is a sick
That is
thing to
something that
say.
Americans lack. It's actually not dissimilar. I've thought about this quite a bit. Like American nationalism has a very close similarity to the myth making of Nazi Germany, because they had no like robust Roman Empire style culture because they were like living in fucking mud huts back then. So I think like Adolf Hitler was like very jealous of that history. So they would just like go and try to find like, you know, Thor's hammer or something to be like, oh, we're Nordic actually.
right.
Yeah, and I think Americans have to do that too because it's like such.
And Hitler was
new...
basically like a short king who had like short man syndrome.
I would say he's a manlet, not a short king.
wait, what's the definition?
Manlet.
I don't even know what that is.
So there's short kings and then there's manlets. If you're like, you know, a short king, you don't care, you're cool.
Got it. Hitler had little man syndrome.
Yes.
And so he basically had to be like, I'm a Viking, you know that, right? And everyone's like, you're not.
Yeah, but I think there was like a jealousy of you know, seeing Mussolini down there, and Mussolini's just like riding with the Roman Empire.
And what's Mussolini? Mussolini's like 6'3"?
I don't even know how tall he was, but he had a fat ass. I know that.
Okay.
He was like jealous because you need to create like a national myth around like the superiority of your people.
Sure.
I don't think Americans have that either because it's like. It's like a made up country that's relatively new with no, you know, with
and that's
no,
why
like,
we have 16 Spider-Mans.
Yeah, exactly.
There's like, I don't know what our story is, but we have the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Obviously 2 Andrew Garfield Spider-Mans. And then we have Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Well,
so that's what we have. And by the way, a third of our Spider-Man, actually 2/3 of our Spider-Mans aren't from here.
That's also true. That's what's interesting is like I think it was after Trump assassinated Qasem Soleimani. Trump was saying like, "We'll hit your cultural landmarks. We'll hit your cultural sites," which is terrorism. That's what Trump was like tweeting out, terrorism. And the Iranian response was something along the lines of like, "We want to hit your cultural land sites, but." Americans have none. Like we can't kill SpongeBob. You know, like you have none, and it's kind of true.
America was invented before Germany. Stop! Don't do this. You know exactly what I'm fucking talking about. Okay, like I hate this. I hate this like annoying pedant bullshit. Okay, you know what I mean. Okay, a lot of these nation states that you understand obviously come from monarchies that they can point to as a part of their fucking culture. Jesus Christ, it's the same chatter. I'm responding to one guy. I'm getting same guide. Actually, the Weimar Republic technically wasn't Germany. Shut the fuck up.
It's really interesting because, like, I mean, I've talked about this, and I've gotten again trouble for this as well because I talked about this in the context of Hasan Nasrallah, another Hasan, who was assassinated by Israel. He was the leader of Hezbollah in Lebanon, the general secretary of Lebanon, and he was a very important figure for Lebanese politics. I mean, he's considered a terrorist by the American State Department, of course. I talked about how like well-read he is, because he is. Like these guys, they wear the beard, they wear the clothes, but like he was an incredibly well-read individual who, on many occasions, had talked about like. The difference between anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism, like even criticizing Arabs for thinking like, you know, Israel controls America, is like, that's not the case. When we grow up in America, we just like assume automatically that if someone has a big beard and wears like a turban or something, that they're like, you know, barbaric.
Sure.
And that's not like, those guys are very well-read people. Like they're
and a lot of them were educated in the West.
Yes, exactly. That too, for sure.
So after we finish this, you got to do a stream. What is it like being in constant conversation with the internet?
Not great. Probably not good for my brain. But I love what I do. I'm a very stubborn person. And I feel like that has been, and my ADHD, I guess, has been like almost a weapon in this field, where it works so perfectly with who I am.
Do you ever get bored listening to your own podcast on stream? I'm enjoying it because I'm a viewer, but I get bored watching what I already heard myself say? No, because I forgot what I've said already. I say too many things to remember everything that I have said.
Like this format.
This was great though. Honestly, this pod appearance was one of the best. And it's because Hasan was adamant about like trying to explore parts of me and my worldview and my ideology and what I believe in, because he had seen so much that he had seen so much coverage on me, and he felt like it was not showing the actually important aspects of what I believe, like what my worldview is.
Where I'm constantly just like hammering the same exact talking points over and over again, constantly like explaining to people if they're confused about something, or even debating people from time to time. I personally love it, but it's definitely not for everyone, I will say.
How do you determine the difference between signal and noise? Like when I look at the chat on the right side of the screen, I feel like I'm gonna have a seizure.
Yeah, it's normal. It's a normal feeling to have.
But I feel like you can see the matrix.
Yeah.
And so what are you discerning there?
I think I'm reading everything, which is really crazy. Like I see everything, which is not good because...
And then your brain is just like sifting through.
Immediately, people are going to be like, do you see this? Yeah, look at this. Sussy. Classic.
The recycling
I
bin?
see everything.
Yeah, yes. All of you saying you don't see this, read this. I see it all. Stop.
I don't know how I figured this out, but like I can go into like almost a free flow state where on the one hand, I'm reading an article or I'm offering commentary on an issue that I've talked about probably a million times at this point, because the same exact problems that I was talking about 10 years ago in a much more restricted format are the exact same issues that persist. I'm talking about something, I'm explaining something while also simultaneously browsing the chat, and it's like going, and then I'll...
Chat's moving so fast, no one will know I'm gay.
Pick something and I will deliberately move it into the main stage. We call it like bringing someone into the public square in the chat, where I will use that as a jump off point to like either use it as
like you'll take that comment and you'll put it in the main screen and you're like, all right, let's just break this down for a little bit.
And in many instances, the overwhelming majority of the chat is actually offering complimentary information that correspond to what I'm talking about. People will bring up old things that I've said, or people will bring up old things that like whatever individual I'm talking about has said, and then they'll like send a link, and then I move through that free flow state. But then there are moments where someone is coming in with like, you know, a sinister reason, where they're coming in to be like, oh, I'm just curious, like why do you love doing 9/11s? You know, that's which is not really
I don't even know what that means.
They're just saying
they're
saying that I love 9/11 and I want to do 9/11s to America.
Okay, got it.
And I mean, it's just racist, but sometimes you just you know, I snap and I pick it up and then I yell at that person
and then you go
a little
off.
bit. Yeah.
Okay.
And there are moments where like I think I do it specifically so I can like shape the community as well. It's almost like, because it's not a hive mind. There's obviously a lot of diversity of opinion inside of the chat. There's a very wild demographic in there. When I was out in the Bronx with Kid Mero and my buddy Brace, there were 17-year-olds that were like, oh my God, I love what you're doing. And then there were like 57-year-olds.
Holy shit.
First, it was just like younger people, but I think now they're like parents watch as well, which is wild.
Listen, bro, we got to wrap it up, but I just want to, I think about you often.
Thank you.
You're a brown dude in the media, and I know they try to get you caught up. And one of the things where I feel for you, as a fellow Hasan, one of my friends, Mehdi Hasan, y'all got to stay prepared. So we're going to play a game on this show called Condemn or Condone.
Okay, let's do it.
We basically have a paddle. I can have you leave with this, but whenever you engage with the media, it's important that you keep this on hand at all times. Okay?
Love that.
Just so they know you're one of the good ones.
Okay.
Just let them know what it is. Yeah.
Well, I did do a version of this.
You have a condemn paddle?
I have not a condemn paddle, but like when Russia invaded Ukraine.
Yes.
Because I'm not exactly fond of NATO. I knew that like people were going to immediately say you're pro-Russia. I'm not. So I had this this Chiron. Vladimir Putin is bad. And it didn't work. It didn't work. They still clipped me. And they were like, no, he loves Vladimir Putin. It's like, and it's spinning right above my head. And the same goes for, post October 7 commentary. You got to condom hummus a million times over before you approach the conversation of the humanity of Palestinians.
That's why I gave you the paddle.
I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
Here we go. Condemn or condone with Hasan Piker. Let's get it. Condemn or condone Domino's Pizza.
Oh, is that the camera? Is that my camera?
Yeah.
I do not fuck with Domino's Pizza. I think it's BDS too, but I think it's ass.
You didn't fuck with Domino's even at Rutgers?
No, the sauce is like too sweet, chemical seasoning. It's not even real seasoning. I condemn.
Okay.
Easy. That's an easy one.
Condemn or condone Luigi Mangione.
Ooh. Oh.
Condone.
Yeah, he's hot.
Okay.
That's the only thing. Nothing else.
The Menendez brothers.
Oh, damn, you got me. No, I don't. I condemn. I'm not super familiar with what they did. They like killed their parents, right?
But allegedly the parents did sexually abuse them when they were young.
Okay. I don't know.
That's actually the perfect way to. It is a 50-50.
It's like that.
Condemn or condone Yope. I don't even know what that is. It's a new app apparently.
What? Yope?
Yeah.
This is your final warning, big dog. Check up on your quote-unquote history before casting condemnation. My history? I hate to center myself in this way, but I left some dummy good comments a couple segments ago, and I would really like to be shaken right now, Daddy. I'm not shaking you, chatter. That's cheap bait to be shaken.
I don't know.
Just even know what that is. It's a new app apparently.
What? Yope?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just
condemn it. Yeah, condemn it.
No, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna condone it. I don't know what it is.
Condemn or condone NATO.
I condemn.
All right.
I think it's a thorn. It's a protection racket.
This is a weird Venn diagram between you and Donald Trump.
Yeah, no, well, but he's not anti-NATO. That's why everyone knows he's like, oh, he's anti-NATO. It's like he just got European countries, NATO allies, to spend a higher percentage of their GDP on American weapons. And now Trump wants 5%, which is crazy. Like if a country were to spend 5% of their GDP on American weapons that they're purchasing and they're a social democracy, they're not going to be a social democracy for much longer.
Sure.
They're about to experience American style austerity. They're about to experience what it's like to really be an American with no health care. You can't pay for the health care in the buses if you're paying for the F-35s.
Nationalizing the podcast industry.
Oh, condone. 100%.
No. Condemn.
No.
Condemn.
Condone. No, I'm a big
Turn
advocate.
the faucet off.
No, we need to nationalize it, state sanctioned. I'm imagining a world where, we are a part of the ministry of propaganda and we're all doing agitated propaganda to talk about how glorious our leader is. That's the future I want to live in, where I'm a minister of propaganda for United Socialist States of America.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, condemn or condone Turkish baths.
Oh, condone.
They're dope?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you condemn it, you're homophobic.
All right.
I will not elaborate.
Condemn or condone Mehdi Hasan.
I condone Mehdi Hasan. He's chill.
He's anything but chill. Condemn or condone banning social media for children under 16.
Banning social media? Condone. For children under 16? Oh, for sure. Or just like only show them museums or something.
Last one. I gotta prep you. You're gonna have another big national interview. Condemn or condone radical Islamic terrorism.
I condemn the radical Islamic terrorism.
You had the big NYT profile. You may end up on Fox News pretty quick, so I just wanted to have
I
just wanted to have that ready. Bam.
No.
Fastball down the middle. Hasan, you're my guy, dude.
Oh, thank you. This is awesome.
Appreciate you pulling up, man.
Finally, we did it.
We finally did it, man.
Double Hasan.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you for having me.
Was a little slow on that last one. No, I don't have
Hey,
a
it's
paddle.
me, Hasan. I am here to panhandle. Not for money, for subscribers. Apparently, 70% of you guys won't commit to me. You want to kick it and listen weekly, but you can't admit that we like each other? Just admit it, we're vibing.
There you go.
Now, if you're serious about this relationship, hit the follow or subscribe button wherever you watch or listen. And if you don't, well, okay. Message received. But just so you know, I will be seeing other audiences.
That was chill. When will we see all three Hasans in the future? Inshallah.